Welcome back. My name's John, and welcome to my YouTube channel. What I'm doing here is continuing from my previous video with the water tank. We got it filled for the composting pile, but what I'm doing now is I got some wire here that a buddy of mine had a fencing company, had a partial roll he gave me, and what I'm doing is setting up for the 18-day compost pile. And what I'm doing, I've watched a bunch of videos, and I learned this procedure from Perma Pasture Farms down in North Carolina. Billy and his son did a video on this 18-day compost pile using a wire. And I've watched a couple other YouTubers do a video on these, but they've always tied them or wrapped their wire around them, and I'm thinking I'm going to use these over and over. So what I did was I took an old broom handle I had, and I cut the wire about 10.5 feet, somewhere around there, so when it's done it's going to be real close to 3 foot in diameter. But what I want to do is I left the ends, I cut a square out, and I'm going to wrap them, make circles, and then do it on the other side. And then I have the aluminum rods that I'm going to hook them down, build my compost, and then when I'm ready to move it, I'll pull the bar out and then unwrap it, and then I can set it up. If I want to shovel it back into the wire, I can, or just make a pile as I start to flip it. So I'm not going to bore you with the bending and stuff. It does take a little bit of muscle and manpower, but I'm going to try to use some wrenches, and then I'll pause this a little bit, and then I'll bring you back when I get this side done. Okay, so here I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And what you do, I'm using just a wooden old broom handle just to kind of give me my loop. But it takes some finger muscles, but I bring it down around. I bring it down around and have it come through, but then I bend it around the upright of the other square, and that kind of locks me in. For the loop. So now I can flip it over, and they're tight against the wood, so I just need to tweak it a little bit. Like this one's got a little gap, but it ain't gonna take much just to loosen them. One or two's tighter than the other, and it's just a matter of taking the pliers and making that loop a little loose on it. So here we go. We can turn that out, and then we have a loop. We have the loops we need. Now the broom handle is a little bit thicker than the aluminum piece I have, and this is just a piece I had laying in the barn that'll slide in. And what I'll do is I'll flip this over, and I'll do the exact same thing on the other side, which will lay here, and that'll hook. It's kind of like a lock, and then it can't unroll, and then I'm not using a string to tie it. And you don't have to do this way. You can just lap it, take your hooks that you left over. What I did was when I cut it, I cut the square and left it. You can cut it just a little shorter and then just bend it and lock it in. But I plan on using these over and over. So I figure for me, if I can make it where I can pull a rod, unwrap it, wrap it back, put the rod back in, I could put in front, and I could literally use this to turn it. Now a lot of people just do this to set it up to begin with, and then they take the wire off, and then they just turn it into a pile, keep the pile kind of tight. But I thought maybe I'll do one with a pile, and I'll do one, because I'm going to do 2 of these. I'll do one with a pile, and then I'll do one inside. Now this wire, the squares are a little bigger than I'd like, So I'll probably line this with chicken wire just to help keep some of the stuff. The ideal wire is like a 2x3, a 2x4 that you'd want to use, or chicken wire. But like I said, a buddy of mine owns a fencing company, had a partial roll. You can see it over there. That I'll be able to get 2 or 3 out of it. So I don't have no money out, and it'll definitely serve the purpose. Here's a good chance I might be able to get 4 of these. But I'm getting a late start today, and I'll carry you around. We've been hauling. Here's that wire. But we have a local lady farmer that can't get rid of manure, so we went and got a couple loads of horse manure today. And then I'm going to do these wire 18-day compost. But I'm also going to set up 6 skid bays out of the skids in those flat fence pieces back there. That's going to be my backs. The wooden pallets there, I'll put 4 skids up, and they'll give me three bays. And then I'll fill those up right before winter and have them sit over winter. Whatever horse manure I have left over, I'll fill those up and let them sit over winter and let them do their thing without turning them. I'll take you over and show you my sawdust room, where I'm gonna get my carbon to do this. I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I got plenty of sawdust. It goes all the way up to the ceiling, so I can make many compost piles with this carbon. And it is nice dry pine sawdust from our planer inside the shop, or wood shop. And then whatever we use, table saws, whatever's hooked up to the vac system, gets blowed out into this room. So we'll have plenty of sawdust. Now we have plenty of horse manure for our nitrates. And then I'm going to add some green grass. We usually mow, we don't bag it, but I have a little push mower here. So I am going to mow a couple bags and kind of add the fresh green grass, because that'll really help heat up the manure. The manure, what we brought in today is a few months old. It's still got some heat in it, but I did think I got to add some greens to it to really get it going. So I'll get this other wire going, and when I start to layer these, I'll bring you back. Thanks.